Hi, this is RN Bhaskar from Bhaskar Ki Business Baatein. And like every time, we talk to you about policy analysis, about stories, and about conversations. And this time we do a policy analysis. And this time the policy analysis surrounds recent statements made by senior politicians of the ruling party saying that interest rates need to be reduced. Of course, everybody likes lower interest rates, right? But why are interest rates high? And the answer is very simple. Interest rates are high because of two reasons. One is that the RBI wants to reduce the circulation of money. And the second reason is that the banks see greater risk in lending money to people. When risk goes up, interest rates go up. When money is abundant, interest rates automatically come low. But then you have more circulation of money, which leads to inflation. And when there's an inflation, people are unhappy. People are unhappy because inflation is a very, very nasty taxation for the poor and the middle class. The middle class does not have its income increasing the way the government's income is increasing. GST goes up by 17%. Your GDP goes up by 8%. Most people's salaries don't go up by more than 5%. And many people lose their jobs. Inflation is a dangerous thing, both for elections as well as for the common man. Hence, inflation needs to be controlled. But when you circulate lots of money, inflation goes up. Why is there too much of money circulating? Because the government wanted to purchase the loyalty of voters by giving free this, free that, free something else, free money for Beti and Behen and other schemes that different state governments create. Schemes are all right. But when you give free money, you do two dangerous things. First, by injecting money in the system, you increase the quantity of money, which causes inflation. And the second danger is, by giving money free to people, you teach them not to work. And that destroys an entire generation of people who don't want to work but want to live on freebies. Both are dangerous for the country. And that is why the Reserve Bank rightly wants to control money supply, and one of the ways to control money supply is by increasing interest rates. But that is not enough. You also have another danger taking place. And the danger is, because people have lost their jobs, people cannot pay their credit card dues. So defaults on credit cards has kept on increasing. There's a second thing that happens. Because people don't have enough money and inflation is going up, people are desperate. They are giving their gold to pawn shops, to companies, to banks, and drawing money out of that. Look at the gold loans. They are climbing faster than ever before. When does a man give gold as mortgage? A man surrenders his gold to a company or a bank to borrow money when times are desperate. These are desperate times. Money circulation also increased because of the third reason. For the last 5 years, every government financial institution has been purchasing shares to make sure the share prices don't go down. When I can make more money in the stock markets than I can make in my company, I take my money and put it in the stock markets. When I make some profit, I put that also in the stock market. So with the result, the stock market increases the circulation of money, and money into manufacturing becomes less and less and less. When money into manufacturing becomes less, That has several consequences. One major consequence is that not many new factories are started, not many new offices are started, so no new jobs are created. So the graduates that graduate each year don't find jobs easily. A second problem is that because money has been going to the stock markets and more money is coming in, it leads to inflation, like I told you before. The government's policies were wrong. And because the government's policies are wrong, people are suffering today. One more cause for inflation is the government's desire to keep increasing import duties. The government says we increase import duties to protect domestic industry. But that is what happened during the 1990s, the 1980s, 1970s. We wanted to protect domestic industry to the point where domestic industry became expensive and inefficient. Today, we are increasing import duties. Look at the chart, and you will see that the import duties are very high. As a result, because the import duties are high, the goods that are produced and sold in the country, the prices also go up. Once again, the consumer is squeezed and the industry becomes less efficient. What the government wants to do is to reduce interest rates so that people are happy. But then you're increasing the problems. You're not reducing them. To fool the people, the government even tried to suggest that the index which measures inflation should be changed and food should not be included. How stupid is that? 80% of the very small man's income goes in buying food to keep himself alive, to keep his family alive. And you want to take the major part of his expenditure away from inflation. Are you trying to distort statistics? And that is where the RBI is right. The RBI does not want to remove food. It is a crucial part of measuring inflation. And then there's one more thing that happens. Because we rely too much on the stock markets, money came into stock markets, money came into investments. And then suddenly the stock markets started falling. When the stock markets started falling, people began losing money on the one hand. More default with banks took place because of that. But a second more interesting thing happened. Foreigners who had invested in the Indian markets realized that in this falling market, India is not attractive. They took their money out. Look at this chart which shows how market indices have started falling. When market indices fall, foreign exchange goes out of the country. So, your foreign exchange going out, you have inflation at home, your exports reduce because your ability to manufacture cheaply has also reduced because you've not invested money in factories. And your imports increase because you have no choice but to continue surviving by importing goods, assembling them. So, when foreign money goes out, when investors in India don't want to invest in manufacturing, what does a foreigner do? He says, Indians don't trust their own country. Why should I put my money in that country? And so the foreigner also stops investing in the country. Look at the way FDI has fallen. So you have FDI falling, you have imports increasing, exports reducing, inflation increasing, and at that time you want the government to continue saying, please reduce interest rates. That will only be putting oil on fire, and the fire will become bigger. The RBI is right. You cannot increase interest rates now. You need to control money supply. You need to make sure that government also controls the so-called freebies, doles, and reveries being given out to everybody. India is in a very crucial stage today. If it does not mend its ways today, there will be trouble tomorrow. Thank you very much for watching this channel. And please do remember to subscribe and to click the like button. When you do both, it helps us. And when it helps us, we can come out to you and reach out to you with more stories, with more analyses, and more conversations. Thank you for being with us.